Hello everyone, it's great to see you all again. For those who have just joined, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much. By the way, I'm currently looking around a banana plantation. It's very lush and shady here. It's also very comfortable for relieving stress and escaping the heat. And look, there are many sparrow nests here. Isn't that right? So, I've got an idea. How about we make some bird traps, okay? The tools we used were just a knife and a pair of scissors. Very simple, isn't it? Now, we just need to find the materials. You may not know yet that my idea is to make a bird trap using materials from banana tree stems. I will gather them from this garden. If you want to try it too, please take about 60 or 90 centimeters. Take only the good parts of the stem and discard any rotten or unusable parts, like the example I'm showing you here. Next, what we'll do is split the banana tree stem that we've collected. Split it as I'm demonstrating here. Take only the edge parts with the skin, then slice them thinly, about 0.5 to 1 centimeter wide. This is because we'll be extracting the fibers. The smaller the pieces, the easier it is to extract the fibers, and vice versa. This is what the slices look like. Now, we'll extract the fibers. In this example, I'm using my fingernail to extract the fibers. Watch how I do it like this. If you find it difficult, you can use a piece of broken glass or something similar. The important thing is to remove the skin and end up with several fibers from this banana tree stem. Be careful and don't press too hard because the fibers usually break, and it would be a waste as we'd have to start the fiber extraction process all over again. And look, can you see the fibers now? These are what we'll use later to make the bird trap. Next, twist or shape the fibers into a thread so that it will be strong when we weave it and won't break easily. After it becomes a bird trap, it also won't break easily when a bird enters this trap and struggles. I apologize if I've confused you a bit with the terms snare and trap that I've been using. In fact, the type we're making is more accurately called a trap. What I mean is a combination of a snare and a bird trap. For the purposes of this context, you can consider these two terms to be the same. Pay close attention to these steps for twisting the fibers. The process of making thread from banana tree fibers begins with tying or knotting 2 to 4 fibers at one end. Then, with the help of my foot, I twist the fibers like this to form a thread. Watch carefully. When twisting the fibers, separate them into 2 parts and then twist. Make sure the untwisted parts of the fibers don't get tangled or merged together, as it will be difficult to separate them if that happens. If the untwisted portion of the fibers becomes thin or too short, you can add more fibers, just one is enough. Here's an example of how to do it. After you've finished twisting, now tie off the end so it doesn't unravel. And there you have it, your thread is ready. Now, we can begin making the bird snare or trap. First, let's take several threads that we've just made. Align their ends so that when we fold them in half, they'll be of equal length. Since we're going to trap sparrows or birds of similar size, we only need 8 to 9 threads, which should be enough. For birds the size of house sparrows, use about 10 threads. After arranging the threads evenly, now we tie them exactly in the middle of the bundle of threads. Here's an example of how to do it. The next step is weaving. This process begins by tying or knotting every 2 threads together. Continue doing this until all the threads are tied. After that, each knot containing 2 threads is tied to the knot next to it. This will form a net-like pattern. Pay close attention to the example I'm demonstrating. Continue doing this repeatedly until the trap is approximately large enough to contain a bird's body. Look, this is now large enough to contain a sparrow, and even a house sparrow could fit. Therefore, the next step is to cut off the excess fibers that aren't being used. Be careful when cutting so that you don't accidentally cut the last knot. Now, it's time for the final step, which is adding the locking cord to the trap. Here's how. Take a thread and tie it to one of the last knots of the weave we just made. Then, insert the end of this cord through each of the loops we wove earlier, which look like net meshes. Do this in a circular pattern until you meet the end of the cord that we first tied. Let me explain how this trap works. The trap is meant to be installed at the entrance of a bird's nest. Place the trap at the entrance to the nest. The end of the cord should be tied to something sturdy enough to hold it. When a bird enters its nest, it will also enter the trap and become caught inside, because the locking cord we added will activate and close the trap's entrance. Eventually, the bird will try to leave the nest but will remain inside the trap, ultimately falling and hanging. Okay, now, the trap is finished and ready to use. Here, I will test it first before we set it up and see the results whether it succeeds or not. For this test, I'll use these scissors to simulate a bird entering the trap and getting locked in. Watch carefully. Alright, the trap is now ready to use. For the test, please watch the next video in part 2 of this bird trap using banana tree fiber. See you again. Bye.